What is up, everybody? I'm back again. Check out this fat angle I got going on right here. Today I'm going to be walking you through a good shoulder day. I typically do shoulders by themselves because it's a pretty wide array of muscles, and so I like to give them a day themselves. Watch this idiot dumping weight. Oh man, what an idiot. We got a new bar at the gym, and its grip is really tight, and so I wasn't used to using the guide bars with it. So when I pulled back on it, it pulled the guide bar out and dropped the plate. Happens to the best of us. Just wanted to show you guys a little bit of a blooper. So yeah, I want to walk you through this routine. I like to start with the shoulder press on the machine, just light, do a ton of reps, try to warm up. I feel like with the isolation of the shoulder muscle, the machine's good at getting me warm up, get the rotator cuff warm and loose, and then I go over here and I do shoulder press on the bench. I like to do it a little different than a lot of people. I set it up with the guide rails so I don't have to reach forward onto the little pins. Warm up with 135, and then I do a few reps there, then I'll jump up to 225 on the shoulder press. And I've been trying to really get up to 10 reps on this each set, but I think I only get 9 here. So I just keep doing that same weight as many times as I can. I just try to go to failure. Another thing I like to do is make sure I turn my head to the side. I try to look to the left, kind of towards the plates. I'm not really looking anywhere. I'm just getting my chin out of the way so I can keep the bar close to my delts and keep it on track with a shoulder press and not try to get into an incline motion or use the chest or anything. That's why I use the tall bench. I like to have the higher support on my back. I feel like the short bench adds a little extra core work, and I usually don't do that unless I'm doing a standing press. I didn't get enough reps on this last set here, so what I like to do is just drop a plate and finish out a set. Try to do as many more as I can. Just try to get the rest of the set in on a lighter weight to make sure I really maximize the tear of the muscles. Because if I do too low of reps, I start working on strength, and I'm really trying to do mass building. So I feel like the higher the reps, the more tear you get, and you get more mass build out of it. Today I'm going to move on to the Arnold presses. That's where you take the dumbbells down to your front and rotate them up over your head, as I'm doing right there. Try to get more outer delt work in, as well as work on some core because I'm having to stand to do it. Right here I'm using the 55s, and I'll probably do 12 reps there to just warm up and get loose again, and then I'll move on to a 70 or so and try to get a little actual working set going in. On these earlier sets, I like to make sure I'm really get a long extension out of the press. I want to make sure to get it as high up as I can and really peak on the front delts there. The later sets, I kind of start becoming more lax with it because I would just really want to stress the muscle more so than that.
Try these 90s. Try the hundreds as punishment.
So I felt like I was pretty comfortable with the 90s. However, I also felt like I didn't get very many good reps out of it. So what I meant by punishment was I had to go heavier and just try to make it a heavy set instead of try to do a good working set. Just go heavier, and then I'll do a drop set and drop back down to the 70s. Because the hundreds are actually pretty heavy, and I didn't get as many as I would have liked for a real set. And that's going to do it for the Arnold presses. So here I'm moving on to side lateral raises. A lot of times I like to do a giant set, the way Ronnie Coleman calls it, where you do a lighter weight and go heavier, just back to back to back to back. But right here, I was pretty wore out, so I didn't feel like doing that. That would have been a little hard on me. So I just do a normal routine where I'm going to do probably 4 sets of 8 to 12 once again. Start there with the 35s as a warm-up, and right here I'm moving up to the 50s. Just try to do as many as I can there and see if I can go heavier. Gotta make sure you do this after every set. It really keeps that blood going. I took a little longer break after the 50s, and I moved up to the 55s, and I felt pretty good. So they were a lot better set than the 50s, and I was feeling pretty confident, so I move up again after this set.
Whoa!
The 60s were probably too heavy, but I still go ahead and just try to get as many reps as I can and try to make it count. Even though my form's not great, it still burns and tears, so just keep going.
High praise.
Go on to the front raises, single arm. I try to do these with the dumbbells pretty regularly. I do them differently. Sometimes I'll do them seated, and sometimes I'll do them where my hands turned up laterally. Sometimes I turn it flat. Today I'm just trying to really make sure it's in front of me and with my hand flat. Just try to get a full movement out of the front delt. Even though I've done some bigger compound moves with it, I still like to do a little bit of isolation on it. I started with the 35s here as a warm-up, and then I'm moving up to the 50s again here. I pretty well do similar weights as I do with the lateral raises. A lot of times I feel like I can do more on the lateral, but today I wasn't feeling particularly strong on it, so I was doing lighter. But the front raises, I'm doing the 50s, and doing the alternating arms, it takes a lot more out of me. So a lot of times I feel like that's probably why I can't do as much. But right here, just really trying to make sure my form's pretty decent. Subscribe, 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 subscribe. Here I'm going to finish up with the 55s. I only do 3 sets here on these since I basically did the shoulder press and the Arnold press. Those pretty well wore out my front delt, but I still just once again wanted to get some more isolation out of it. I'm swinging pretty bad, but it's still burning and flexing the muscle pretty well, so I kind of let it go and just do it anyways, just try to get the extra reps in. Then I'm going to move on to shrugs. I really like the Smith machine here, so I can do some single arms and really do some extra effort on them. Because the dumbbells don't go heavy enough to really get a single arm shrug. I can use the Smith machine and just alternate hands. As well as it doesn't make me reliant on my grip too much, because the way the Smith, it locks it in. So if I'm pulling it towards that direction, then I can really get a stronger grip. It's more just pulling on the shoulder muscles. I'm not going to do both hands here, but I like to do a little extra reps here on the warm-up just to get the blood going in there. Start with 1 plate, and then I'll move up to 2 plates. Not really sure what the weight is on the Smith machine, but if the Smith machine was nothing, then that's basically 180 right there on each arm. And I feel like right there it does a pretty good pull on me. Trying to get like 10 reps on each side, on each arm, and just do as well as I can. You got to be careful with this because it'd be easy to wrench your back. So I like to add a little extra support with my outside arm, grabbing onto the Smith machine. It allows me to have extra support on my core. Because if you're not careful, you can really get jerked back down hard with the Smith machine, and it can pull out a disc or something like that. But just make sure to keep your core tight. This will be the last set. I consider the first set a warm-up, and this will be the fourth set of a working set. It's really straining here, so I just try to get as many as I can in each arm, and then just switch out and call it a day on the traps. But I really do think this is one of the best trap moves that I can do. It with behind the back or to the front, I feel like I don't get as much of a peak out of it. But with single arm, I like it a lot. Once again, you got to do your, after every set, shoulder flex. And finally, going to move on to some rear delts work. I really like the dumbbells on this. I feel like it gives me a good flex at the top. And always got to use gravity as much as you can. I'm going to use the 35s here and, to start, and I moved up to the 40s, I think, and I think I finished with the 45s here. Just really feel like you're flying.
You used it all up. That's all, folks. Another shoulder day done. Hopefully I looked decent and beautiful, just like you. Make good choices.